Taylor Swift has responded via a spokesperson. It is not good for Blake Lively, as Taylor Swift essentially wants nothing to do with this. In fact, kind of shows that she's distancing herself by saying, I didn't even see this movie for weeks on end. I was out doing my international tour.
Taylor Swift just ditched Blake Lively as Brian Friedman officially subpoenaed her in the explosive lawsuit.
Taylor Swift subpoenaed as witness in Lively Baldoni case.
Blake tried to cash in old favors by dragging Taylor into her legal circus, but Taylor's done playing loyal dragon.
Taylor Swift and Hugh Jackman are set to be subpoenaed?
She's now in full escape mode, dodging subpoenas and erasing Blake from her orbit.
Taylor Swift certainly does not. She's distancing herself from Blake Lively the way you distance yourself from a one-night stand who gets too clingy.
Her best friend, Taylor Swift, is officially subpoenaed. Yes, subpoenaed. Not speculated, not rumored, not a source says.
A source reveals this or a source reveals that. They're claiming this is a Taylor Swift spokesperson who's reached out to TMZ.
A legit legal document was slapped into Taylor's orbit while she's out here literally headlining the biggest tour in human history. Like, girl, she's collecting billions on the Eras Tour and you dragged her into your personal fan fiction courtroom meltdown?
We know this. We knew she would be subpoenaed. It was no joke. I'm going to share exactly what Blake Lively's lawyers have to say about this.
Blake Lively's spiral is so loud right now, even the Swifties can't ignore it. I mean, you call someone your dragon, your protector, your magical Hollywood ally, only to watch them publicly burn the friendship papers and light a new candle to cleanse their PR energy. It's giving Khaleesi collapse energy. Except Blake forgot one thing. Dragons don't fly into courtrooms for free. They fly away when they smell a PR dumpster fire.
Here's what Blake Lively's team had to say in response to Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, saying, hey, you want your story out there? Let's live stream this at Madison Square Gardens, right?
Taylor's team didn't just say, no thanks. They put out a mic drop of a statement that basically read, we don't know her. Swift's rep said, plain as daylight, Taylor never visited the set, never gave input, never edited, never cast, never even watched the damn movie until weeks after it came out. Like, Blake, baby, how do you go from ride or die besties to she didn't even see the trailer? Embarrassing doesn't even begin to cover it.
Here's the response. This is a case about what happened to Blake Lively when she raised claims of harassment on the set. It's not a case about how songs were chosen for the movie.
And let's be real. The tone of Taylor's response wasn't just denial, it was elegant rejection. They didn't say minimal involvement, they said none. She was globetrotting and selling out stadiums, while Blake was in a New York penthouse, apparently drafting court-ready monologues and turning her husband and best friend into courtroom decor. Girl, this isn't Suits. This is a PR horror story.
Gottlieb went on to point out, you have to ask the question then, why are these people being subpoenaed? Of course, that's referring to Taylor Swift, because she has a song in the movie. Do they have any actual relevance to the case at hand? You can't just go around subpoenaing people because they're famous and you think it will generate a bunch of headlines.
Now let's talk about how we even got to this level of mess. And it's all Blake's doing. Blake Lively, who apparently thought she was auditioning for writer-director star court plaintiff, decided to rewrite entire scenes of It Ends With Us, most notably the rooftop scene. You know, the one she decided to completely redo and then proudly present like she just penned the next Gone Girl. She invited Justin Baldoni over to her penthouse, presented him with her rewritten version of the scene, and brought backup, like actual human backup.
And the federal courts don't tolerate that kind of behavior. At this time, he explained it is uncertain if Lively's husband Ryan Reynolds will testify, as he is currently named as a defendant in Baldoni's countersuit. Lively's team is working to get those claims dismissed.
Picture this. You're a director, you show up to give feedback, and you're greeted by Blake, Ryan Reynolds, and just Taylor freaking Swift chilling in the corner, nodding like you better approve this fan fiction or else. Baldoni called it exactly what it was, creative intimidation. And honestly, he's right. What else do you call being cornered by a celebrity couple and the literal biggest pop star on the planet? A brunch meeting?
I don't believe Taylor Swift was involved with any on-set drama. I just believe Taylor Swift was involved and was witness to what went down in the penthouse the night that Baldoni was getting a dressing down or a talking down, whatever you want to call it.
And Blake had the audacity to text Baldoni after that, saying something along the lines of, "If you ever get around to watching Game of Thrones, I'm Casey and my dragons protect me. Ma'am, this is not Westeros. This is a Hallmark-level book adaptation with courtroom subtitles. And these dragons," she was bragging about, Ryan and Taylor, "they didn't sign up for this game of lawsuits nonsense."
Blake Lively's attorney saying, "You can't just subpoena them because they're famous." Well, how about this? Blake Lively can't just name drop Taylor Swift as one of her dragons without, understanding that might bring Taylor Swift into the melee here, right?
Taylor was dragged into this legal circus simply because she happened to be in the room. That's it. Her crime? Breathing the same penthouse air, and now she's being legally forced to engage with this mess while Blake plays victim and pretends this was all unavoidable. Girl, it was 100% avoidable. You dragged your friend in with glitter and camera flashes, and now you're shocked she doesn't want to play lawyer Barbie with you?
Blake, it's not like Justin Baldoni was like, let's subpoena Chapel Roan. She has nothing to do with the case. Blake Lively was there. She was in the room when Baldoni claims that Ryan Reynolds was berating him, right?
And the way Taylor Swift backed away from Blake is honestly iconic. TMZ got the exclusive. Her team made it crystal clear. Her only connection to the film was licensing My Tears Ricochet for use in the soundtrack. Not producing, not casting, not even early access to the footage. Just a song. One among 19 other artists. Yet somehow, she's now the star witness in Blake's pity party.
The connection Taylor had to this film was permitting the use of one song. Given that her involvement was licensing a song for the film, which 19 other artists also did, this document subpoena is designed to use Taylor Swift's name to draw public interest by creating tabloid clickbait instead of focusing on the facts of the case.
Oh, and let's not skip the part where Taylor's team flexed about the tour. Like, in the middle of denying involvement, they made sure to note Taylor was headlining the biggest tour in history. That wasn't shade. That was an eclipse over Blake's courtroom antics. They basically said, while Blake was scribbling in her diary and rewriting scenes in crayon, Taylor was selling out stadiums, charting number ones, and flying over this nonsense in a private jet.
As reported, Justin claims Taylor was more involved than just licensing a song. He says she gave a thumbs up to his casting of Isabella Ferrer as young Lily Bloom. So there they are.
And you want to know how deep the fallout is? Travis Kelce, Taylor's boyfriend, unfollowed Ryan Reynolds. Yes, the unfollow heard around Hollywood. That's right. Even the football boyfriend saw the drama and said, "Yeah, nah, we're not doing this." Because apparently, even NFL stars know when it's time to log out of a friendship.
She was wasting a lot of her energy during the Eras Tour, dating Travis Kelce, trying to be a friend to Blake. All this was sitting there like twirling the evil mustache to get Justin Baldoni. She's got way bigger things to do, Kim, in my opinion.
Blake thought she could manipulate public opinion with big names, emotional texts, and a penthouse powwow. What she got instead was a subpoena for Taylor Swift and a legal team response that read like a breakup text. And let's not act surprised that Taylor dipped. Blake was out here making career-ending accusations, using her friends' names in official legal documents, and then acting shocked when those same friends said, "Leave me out of it."
You just get on stage and just, "Hey, can you sign this? You've been subpoenaed." Did they have to ask, "Are you Taylor Swift?" Because, if there's a stranger, they have to ask, your name. You have to confirm your name. I guess maybe it's implied she is Taylor Swift, although lots of lookalikes out there.
And remember, Taylor isn't new to this game. She's had PR wars with entire record labels, rappers, ex-boyfriends, movie studios, you name it. She knows when she's being used as a scapegoat or a shield. And this time, she took a step back, snapped her fingers, and let her spokesperson say what needed to be said. We're done here.
And as I said earlier in the live when we talked about this, I don't agree with a lot of the audience, my own included, that Taylor Swift is the mastermind behind all this. I just don't believe she was wasting a lot of her energy during the Eras Tour, dating Travis Kelce, trying to be a friend to Blake. All this was sitting there like twirling the evil mustache to get Justin Baldoni.
So what now? Blake sits in court with her highlighter yellow files and her dragons all flown off. Ryan's facing his own possible testimony. Taylor's building a fortress around her tour and her name. And Blake is left giving Game of Thrones quotes in a courtroom where no one is clapping.
Brian Friedman continued, Blake was the one who brought her high-profile friends into the situation without concern for their own personal or public backlash. As the truth shows, she used her dragons to manipulate Justin at every turn.
This wasn't just a friendship ruined. This was a public self-destruction, a masterclass in how to alienate everyone in your contact list in under 6 subpoenas. And if Blake thought she'd win sympathy by dragging Taylor into this, the Swifties have entered the chat. And they don't forget.
And sure, might she have been there to hear some of the bad mouthing from Blake? Okay. Was she there trying to get a song, giving Blake a song for the movie that seemed like it might actually be good? Yeah, I'm sure she was involved in those types of ways as a friendly, creative friend.
Now, let's talk about why Blake Lively thought Taylor Swift owed her anything in the first place. Because honestly, it's laughable at this point. Back in 2021, Blake directed Taylor's I Bet You Think About Me music video. And let me be generous here. It was her first time holding a camera without it being part of a red carpet selfie. It was a big deal for Blake. Her name was splashed across headlines like she just reinvented cinema. Blake Lively, director. Cute.
Good to see that power attorney Brian Friedman and your boy power recapper Dave Neal are on the same page. Brian Friedman's final remark was a nod to Lively's alleged text messages to Baldoni in which she referred to Swift and Reynolds' dragons.
She milked it too. She didn't just direct the video. She practically launched a small PR cult around it. There were viral Instagram stories, gushy press campaigns, behind-the-scenes pictures with matching outfits, and a desperate need to be seen as some kind of artistic visionary. And to be fair, Taylor went along with it. She smiled, posted, called Blake a genius, and let her have her moment. Blake Lively got to be that cool mom on the set of a hit video. She even called it her directorial debut, like she was Catherine Bigelow. Relax.
Again, I don't think, from everything I've seen, Taylor did anything worse than just try to be a good friend. I think any good friend would do that. You find out, imagine you get a phone, you get a phone call from your friend, right? And your friend's like, my boss touched me. They're the worst. And you're like, we're going to sink that mother effer. We're going to do this. We're going to do that.
But now here we are, 2 years later, and Blake is out here dragging Taylor's name into a lawsuit like this is some Hollywood payback tour. Blake's logic is clearly, I helped Taylor once, so now she owes me legal support, courtroom tears, and a sworn deposition. Make it make sense. This is the kind of energy you get from someone who helped you move one couch once in college and now thinks they own your weekends. Blake's entire attitude screams, I helped you go viral. Yeah, now take the stand for me. Ma'am, this isn't Venmo. You don't get to send legal favors as IOUs.
Actually, I don't even think she'll throw Blake under because she's not going to know. I think both Taylor and Hugh are going to play dumb. They're not going to give much. And as crazy as this sounds, and as stressful as it probably was for Taylor and Hugh, I think these are going to be nothing burger.
And the wildest part? Taylor Swift is currently making over $1 billion from the Eras Tour. She's breaking records, selling out stadiums, dominating the charts, and literally changing the economy of every city she performs in. Meanwhile, Blake is begging her to defend a messy lawsuit in a court nobody wants to be in. One is booking stadiums, the other is booking subpoenas.
And I kind of feel like Taylor Swift is the same. She's like, no, I was a ride or die for my lady. And because I've seen this firsthand where you think you've got a friend who's super normal, sassy, funny, successful, whatever.
But of course, Blake thinks she's some sort of misunderstood queen. She really believes that name-dropping Taylor in legal texts is enough to force someone into battle. Let's not forget that golden piece of delusion, the infamous Dragons text. In what might be the most cringeworthy Game of Thrones reference in legal history, Blake literally wrote to Baldoni, like Casey, I have dragons who protect what I fight for.
to Lively's alleged text messages to Baldoni in which she referred to Swift and Reynolds' dragons. In the alleged text, she compares herself to Khaleesi from Game of Thrones and explains, for better or worse, her dragons protect what she fights for. Well, for better or worse, your dragons are going to get subpoenaed. That's just how it works.
Oh, really? And how's that going for you, Blake? Because the dragons seem to have flown the hell away. Taylor isn't protecting anything except her reputation. Ryan Reynolds has gone radio silent. The only thing Blake has at this point is a charred reputation and a bunch of legal receipts.
Bring your dragons into the fight. The dragon's going to have to go to trial, right? Does this dragon solemnly swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? No fire breathing in the courtroom, please.
The strategy here was obvious. Use the celebrity circle. Weaponize fame. Make Justin Baldoni feel cornered in a penthouse filled with billion-dollar names and call it artistic collaboration. But when that didn't work, when the PR spell wore off, the same names she invoked are now her worst nightmare. Taylor Swift is dodging subpoenas with a world tour. Ryan Reynolds might be forced to testify, not in her defense, but possibly against her. And Blake? She's left clutching the ashes of a social strategy that went up in flames.
She completely rewrote the history because she was offended, rejected, or otherwise. And again, it happens. People get triggered.
It's one thing to lose your case. It's another thing entirely to lose the goodwill of the people you called your dragons. That takes a special kind of arrogance. Blake underestimated one major thing. Loyalty doesn't come with a press release. And just because someone clapped for you at a video shoot doesn't mean they'll take a bullet for you in federal court.
Taylor realized Blake's that way, a control freak, and maybe Blake, again, we've talked about this, again, it doesn't make it right, but clearly something happened that made her go from, bitchy in interviews to full-blown, Khaleesi trying to take over the film.
Now, let's get to the part where Justin Baldoni's legal team absolutely dismembers Blake's legal tactics. His attorney, Brian Friedman, who, by the way, is the legal version of a wrecking ball, called Blake's lawsuit a sham, not even flawed or questionable. He went straight for the throat. He said she built the case specifically to gain subpoena power. Translation? She wasn't looking for justice. She was looking for dirt. And she used the court to go fishing.
Baldoni's attorney Brian Friedman hits back at Mike Gottlieb's remarks and accused him of trying to deflect from the case. Although obviously uncomfortable for the Lively parties, the truth is not a distraction. The truth has been clearly shown through unedited receipts, documents, and real-life footage. More to come.
He exposed that Blake had been using fake John Doe subpoenas, all filed through some company called Van Zandt. And let's just stop and appreciate the level of fake corporate nonsense here. Van Zandt? What even is that? A ghost LLC created just to mask subpoenas so no one would notice what she was really doing. It's giving, I watched one season of Suits, and now I'm a legal mastermind. Friedman didn't stop there. He straight up said Blake's legal strategy involved collecting evidence from people like Taylor Swift and Hugh Jackman, without giving them proper notice or legal recourse. She tried to collect their data without due process. In other words, Blake was sneakily gathering information from her celebrity circle while pretending to be a victim in court. She pulled the Hollywood equivalent of, I'm just asking questions, except the questions were subpoenas and the answers were reputational bombs.
Clearly something happened that made her go from, bitchy in interviews to full-blown, Khaleesi trying to take over the film. And what was that? Was it a combination of the stresses of aging, postpartum, was it just the stress of being in an intimate movie after having a baby?
The most ironic part? This entire thing was meant to paint Blake as the one being silenced, the one being attacked. But every move her team made screamed shady. They didn't warn Baldoni's side. They didn't give clear notice to Swift. They didn't follow protocol. And yet they cry foul when Friedman calls them out. It's rich. It's hypocritical. It's Blake. And the backlash? So deserved. Friedman made it crystal clear. Blake's approach wasn't just unethical, it was reckless. She used a fake lawsuit to gather real information, dragged innocent people into a mess they had no part in, and now wants to act like the misunderstood artist who was just trying to speak her truth.
Again, it doesn't make it right, but something happened that made this situation way worse. Was it working with Justin Baldoni, a good-looking man who was younger than your husband, and he was making you feel a way you haven't felt since the good old days, since the pre-war times? I mean, who knows?
Except the truth is, Blake Lively weaponized fame, manipulated friendship, and tried to turn Hollywood loyalty into legal leverage. And now that strategy has blown up in her face. The dragons are gone. The courtroom is heating up, and every PR move she thought would make her look like the hero is just making her look more like the villain. This isn't just a bad legal strategy, it's a reputation crisis. And the worst part? Blake brought it all on herself. Every subpoena, every headline, every awkward silence from Taylor Swift. It's all part of a storm she summoned by playing games with the wrong people.
Here's a text. If you ever get around to watching Game of Thrones, you'll appreciate that I'm Khaleesi, and like her, I happen to have a few dragons, for better or worse, but usually for better, because my dragons also protect those I fight for. So really, we all benefit from those gorgeous monsters of mine. You will too, I can promise you.
At this point, Taylor Swift's entire camp is moving with the urgency of a bomb squad. Because let's be real, this Blake Lively lawsuit is the celebrity equivalent of stepping on a landmine in heels. Taylor's reps are in full-blown damage control mode, and they are not playing. Their message was loud and aggressively clear. Taylor didn't watch the movie, didn't touch the movie, didn't know the movie. She didn't even accidentally glance at the trailer until weeks after it released. That's how far away she wants to be from this flaming wreck.
And again, if you're Taylor Swift, I can't repeat this enough, the amount of trust issues that Taylor Swift probably has from people trying to leech off of her career, literally every single person she meets wants a piece of that.
And we're supposed to believe that this woman, who gives handwritten thank you notes to fans, micromanages set design for her music videos, and notices when a fan theory goes viral, just forgot to get involved in her best friend's movie? Of course not. She's just too smart to be caught holding any of Blake's radioactive secrets. The truth is, Taylor has flipped the do not disturb switch on Blake's entire drama and locked the phone in a vault. And yet, even with Taylor waving a neon sign that says, "I was barely there," people like Isabella Ferrer are out here claiming that Taylor signed off on her audition. Hilarious.
And for her to find out that Blake Lively was using her name behind the scenes as leverage, I have to imagine that's the biggest blow. Because Taylor Swift doesn't need money or power or respect or any of those things. She needs people in her life she can trust.
Imagine being on the Eras Tour stage one day and allegedly giving casting approval from the front row of a stadium the next. Did she write yes in glitter pen on the back of her Grammy? No, it's just more of Blake's desperate attempt to act like her A-list friends were spiritually co-directing this mess with her. Taylor's real goal is simple: escape. Dodge the courtroom, sidestep the subpoenas, prove, loudly and legally, that she is completely irrelevant to the case. And honestly, she's succeeding. Her legal team is treating this like pest control. Swat it, seal it, move on. The faster she distances herself from Blake, the faster she protects the one thing that actually matters right now: her tour, her name, her billion-dollar brand.
Anyway, so that takes us to Taylor Swift, subpoenaed as witness. Now, here's the bombshell, right? Because if you were wondering whether or not Taylor Swift and Blake Lively are still buddies, Blake Lively would make you feel that way, but Taylor Swift certainly does not. She's distancing herself from Blake Lively the way you distance yourself from a one-night stand who gets too clingy.
And if anyone still had doubts, the internet did a little homework of its own. Fans noticed something telling. Taylor Swift has completely ghosted Blake Lively on social media. No likes, no comments, no little pink hearts under Blake's promo posts. Nothing. Radio silence. Even when Blake posted photos from the movie or tried to low-key brag about the cast, Taylor's digital fingerprint was nowhere to be found. That's not a coincidence. That's a calculated retreat. Swift is purging her feed like it's evidence. There's been no public support, no reposts, no show of friendship, and no cute behind-the-scenes photos of them laughing over latte art. You'd think Taylor got amnesia the second the word subpoena entered the group chat. Her entire PR machine is moving like she's preparing for a court-dodging marathon, and I don't blame her. When someone uses your name like a legal battering ram, silence becomes the classiest form of self-defense. And while Taylor is stepping back, the rest of Hollywood is starting to sprint. The fallout from this case isn't just a little awkward, it's a full-blown PR apocalypse. Industry insiders are leaking like cracked faucets, and what they're saying is brutal. One exec reportedly said, "This isn't recasting. This was repackaging with casualties." Meaning, Blake didn't just mess up a casting choice, she messed up everything. Careers, friendships, contracts, trust, boom.
She was
so perfect.
She was with me throughout this whole process. So I think that, for better or worse, she was, experienced the whole thing with me.
I mean, honestly, she was with me on this experience the whole time.
Netflix is currently in triage mode. They're distancing themselves from Blake like she's covered in legal mold. Executives are allegedly furious that their shiny romance adaptation turned into a toxic courtroom showdown. They wanted a hit. What they got is a headline machine hemorrhaging goodwill. The legal drama has overshadowed the plot of the movie entirely, which, by the way, is now associated with subpoenas, scandal, and A-list silence. Press tours are tense, awkward, and uncomfortable. Blake Lively is out here pretending it's business as usual, dodging Taylor Swift questions like she's Neo in The Matrix. You can literally see her blinking in Morse code, hoping no one mentions the word friendship. It's giving, please don't ask me about Taylor energy in every interview. And when she gets cornered, it's all vague smiles and we're still close lies. Ma'am, her boyfriend unfollowed your husband. We're past close.
Your Honor, it appears she was with her, and Taylor Swift's like, I literally wasn't with her. I was selling out stadiums in Japan. Like, what are you talking about? So, again, Blake Lively's going to continue to be asked on her press tour about Taylor Swift, and she can openly discuss it because Taylor Swift has a song in the movie, and that was a big deal for the movie to get a Taylor Swift song approved, Anyway, so...
Even Hugh Jackman, yes, Wolverine himself, is reportedly not thrilled about being dragged into this disaster. Blake name-dropped him too, because apparently, if you've ever shared a dressing room with Ryan Reynolds, you're now a defendant in the court of Blake Lively's imagination. Hugh didn't sign up for this, no one did, and now celebrities are quietly panicking, watching Blake treat the Hollywood social ladder like her own personal subpoena guest list. Blake's burning bridges fast. So drop your thoughts in the comments and hit subscribe for more unfiltered Hollywood chaos.